Newstalk ZB.
Hello, it's now 5:07. We return tonight to the questions raised in the aftermath of London's terrible Grenfell Tower tragedy. Now, the government has asked officials to check on how many buildings in New Zealand use a cladding thought to be involved in the fire. Speculation is high that the aluminium cladding panels caused the fire to spread so quickly, resulting in many, many deaths. Josh Rawlinson is a building surveyor with Prendos, New Zealand. And Josh, evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Evening, how are you?
Very well. So we don't know the specific cladding in the London fire, but we know it wasn't obviously fire resistant. Can you tell us about these aluminium composite panels that are being used? What are they?
Basically, they are a aluminium composite material, or ACP or ACM, they're often referred to. And basically what they consist of is a fine, thin layer of aluminium with a core sandwiched between the two sheets. And what's important to know is basically you can get different types of that product. You can get a fire retardant one, and then you can get a non-fire retardant one. And the issues can be if the wrong product is used in the wrong situation, essentially.
Do we know what's used in what building?
No, I'm not too sure, to be honest. The ACP panels are available in New Zealand and have been used. But obviously, as I say, there are compliant ones. So it really comes down to what product is installed on a building and how the building has been designed in relation to its performance requirements under the building code.
Right. Are there issues around product substitution?
There potentially, obviously, and there's been quite a bit of media attention lately and from councils to do with product substitution issues, where essentially a product is specified and then another product is substituted into the construction. That can be obviously due to preference from a builder or a supplier.
Right, you're dropping out there, Josh. Are you there? Yeah.
Yep.
So essentially, I mean, you can provide performance specs for a building without actually specifying the materials. Yes,
essentially. Well, I mean, the New Zealand Building Code is a performance-based piece of legislation. So you've got functional and performance requirements, and then as a way of complying with that, you have what they call the acceptable solutions. With fire, essentially, that's a performance-based solution as well, where basically it goes through and gives you different options and different ways of achieving compliance. And when it comes to cladding, it basically gives you various test methods or tested options you can go for in order to achieve compliance.
Right, so short answer is we don't know if the cladding is compliant or not, do we?
No, you can do if you if you obtain the test data or the certificates. If it's an appraised product in New Zealand or a code mark product, it potentially has information behind it to support its compliance. They usually will tell you what they've tested to and how it's performed. The issue is if you can't obtain that documentation, then you're basically you're not able to ascertain as to how it stacks up unless you go and test it.
Apartment blocks, in particular Auckland apartment blocks, because there are many of them. The rules were tightened this year. Do we have a problem here? Do you have concerns?
Well, they changed the acceptable solution at the beginning of the year, and the government published some guidance material last year around the use and specification of ACP panels. It's not to say that they haven't been used, but as I say, there's the important thing to be aware that there's a requirement for them in terms of fire performance, and to check that those requirements are being met.
Right. So we could. I've been told, okay, that there are apartment blocks that have this stuff on, and we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know whether in fact it was fire resistant or not. Would you be surprised at that?
Well, you could test it if you didn't know. For example, the Prendos is currently underseeing the remediation on the Nautilus apartments, which failed for weather tightness purposes, and that had an ACP cladding system on it. We've currently removed that system, or removing it, and replacing it now with a double-layer aluminium panel. The option was put through to the body corporate to use a fire-grade ACP, but they decided to go with a more expensive system just for a bit of surety.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially, you can test the product if you're unsure, There's various test methods available to do it.
Do you think there should be audits on all these apartment blocks?
I guess if anyone had any major concerns, it would probably be beneficial in terms of when you're talking life safety. Contact a fire engineer or a building surveyor with fire engineer.
There's a story out just coming out. The United States have banned the type of cladding that was used on the tower in London, banned this cladding some time ago. In fact, they can't be put on buildings taller than 40 feet for fire safety reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Is this stuff coming in from overseas? It's imported, is it? Where's it coming from?
Well, basically, there's no import regulations in New Zealand, so basically anyone can bring in product into the country. The trick is making sure that that product is actually compliant in terms of its testing and its use, so durability, weather tightness, fire. But basically, our building code allows, as I say, it's performance-based, so it gives people the freedom, to design and be creative. But there is also under that, cited standards which things must meet, or if they don't necessarily tick those boxes, those that are using the product should be going through a procedure to ensure how they do stack up.
Can you visually see the difference?
Most, not likely. Perhaps someone very with expertise may be able to tell, but generally you're looking at a panel with basically an aluminium skin either side, a colour, and a core material.
Josh, thank you for coming on the program to explain that. I appreciate it. That is Josh Rawlinson, building surveyor at Prendos, New Zealand.